Hey guys, it's Kind. Welcome back to my channel. It's another day, another video, and another wig. In a recent video of mine, I showed you guys a bunch of new wigs that I got from Powder Room D and asked you what you wanted to see me do with them. And a bunch of you guys said that you wanted to see me style this kind of pastel, minty, seafoam green wig into a Marie Antoinette inspired hairstyle. I have a few images in mind of what I'd like it to look like and a couple of ideas on how I can try to achieve it, but I've never done this hairstyle before, so it's gonna be a new experience, but we're just gonna jump right into it. So the first thing that I'm gonna do with this wig before I try anything else is I think I'm gonna cut a couple of inches off of this. It's 24 inches long, and I've tried teasing long wigs into big updos in the past, and it's just so much hair to work with, and it's so heavy that it always wants to fall down. So the easiest way to tease hair up into an updo is to do it on shorter hair. So I'm just gonna grab the hair into my hands, and then I'm probably gonna cut like maybe this much off. Maybe a little bit more. Doesn't really make that much of a difference, but I feel like it makes the hair a little bit easier to work with when it's not super long. Let me bring this back down. So now I'm going to start the styling off by sectioning a lot of this hair off. Most of this wig I don't want to be curled, except for maybe a few sections in the side and the back. So I'm going to section most of the top off. I'm just going to tie this off into a hair elastic. Alright, so I've sectioned off most of the hair. All of this top section here, I'm just going to leave straight, but all of this hair that's down, like the sides and the back, I'm going to curl in rollers. So I'm just using rollers that look like this. I think this might be like 7/8 or 3/4 of an inch. Most of this hair here you can kind of just curl however you want, but the only parts that I'm going to kind of pay special attention to are the parts on the side, because I want to have the rollers in the hair. Like, I want the hair to be curled up like that. I've seen it in some pictures of Marie Antoinette hairstyles, and I kind of like that. So that's what we're going to try to do here at the sides, but the rest of the back doesn't really matter how you curl it. Okay, all of this bottom hair now is up in curlers. I'm going to go get my steamer and then steam these curls in place. I get a lot of questions from people asking how long they should steam their hair for, and I don't really know because I don't set a timer when I'm doing this. I usually just go by mother's intuition. What I usually like to do is I just take my steamer, and this is a clothes steamer by the way for those of you who don't know, and I just like to make sure that each individual roller has some direct line of steam. So I go up to each curler and then wait till it gets really hot and damp. Once it feels really damp and hot, that's usually how I know that the heat is kind of penetrated through all of the different layers. And I just do this to all the curls, and then usually by then it's good enough. If you're finding that when you take it out of the rollers, the curl is a little bit too loose and too soft, sometimes the problem isn't just not enough steam. Oftentimes the problem will be that you're not waiting long enough. The thing is, it's not just the heat itself that makes the hair curly, it's the combination of the heat and the cooling time that makes the curls really set in place. So make sure you're waiting long enough before you take these out of the rollers. Okay, so now that all of these curls are steamed in place, instead of going off to take a nap while waiting for this to dry, I'm just going to work on this top hair while this bottom hair is conveniently out of the way for me, and I'll just take this down later on when I need it. Right, so taking it out of that big section, I'm going to put it into two other sections. So I'm going to section off all of this front hair that's near the hairline. And the reason why I'm sectioning this off is because in order to get that big, tall bouffant of hair, I'm going to have to rat and tease all of this up. And so I'm going to keep this hair and preserve it so it's nice and clean and soft, and then at the end just lay this clean hair over top of it. Okay, so to give you an update of where we are, all of this bottom hair and the side hair are put up in curlers and they're steamed in place, just ready to come out. And then this front hair here, I've sectioned off into a ponytail. Now we're going to work on all of the kind of middle hair that's going to be the big tall bouffant. Alright, so what you're going to need now is your teasing brush. Mine looks like this. It's kind of like a mix between some boar bristles and then like these like taller plastic bristles. And then you're going to need some hairspray, and the hairspray is going to kind of help give more height to the teasing. Alright, so starting off with my first section, spraying it with a little bit of hairspray. Wigs that are super new and super clean can be really hard to tease because the brush sort of just slips through it, so hairspray is also another good way to give it a little bit of grit and texture. Since this hair is so long too, it's not enough to just tease at the roots. You kind of have to tease almost halfway up in order to get the entire length of the hair to stand up. Otherwise, if you just tease at the roots, 90% of the length of the hair is just going to fall back down. So really go in with the teasing. Let me zoom you out a bit more. I've seen Marie Antoinette hair tutorials where people just take like a big kind of ball of hair or stuffing and that's what gives them the main body, but that's another possibility. I just kind of wanted to challenge myself and challenge my teasing to see if I could get it up really high. So you want to do this kind of teasing to the entire part of the hair that we left up. Alright, so now that most of this hair is teased, I'm going to kind of collect it together. And when you put it all up, you can kind of see now how it might be coming together. I'm not going to bother trying to smooth this all out because I know that I can cover it up with this hair and the back hair. So all I'm going to try to do is take some hairspray and keep it from falling apart, you know? So this is just a bobby pin I'm taking, and I'm taking all of the tips of the hair and I'm going to kind of lock them together. The last step now is to just take all of this hair out of the curlers and arrange the front and the back and the sides hair and lay them over top of this to hide all of the rowdiness. But I'm going to wait a little bit so that these can fully dry from the steam, and I'll be back in a few hours. Okay, I just woke up from my nap and we're going to go back to styling this wig. So the curls have had a lot of time by now to set in place, so I'm going to go ahead and take these out. This might be kind of obvious, but when you're taking out your curlers, don't just try to pull them out. Try to make sure you're like rolling it out nice and gently, just like this, so the curls stay nice and soft. So you'll remember I mentioned earlier, these two curls that are right here, I'm actually going to put them back up in a curl. Obviously I'm going to lose this. I'm just going to curl it up with my fingers. And then you can just set it in place. Not with just hairspray, but also with a bobby pin. Alright, so now that those two little side things are out of the way, the next step now is to put all of this hair up. So this front section of hair, I'm going to try to lay all of it over this. And the back section, I'm going to lay some of it over top, but some of it I also just want to fall down over my shoulders. So I'm only going to lay down as much as it takes to cover up this ratting. Alright, so taking a small section, and I'm going to use lots and lots of hairspray to just lay it over top like that. As you can see, this method uses lots and lots of hairspray, so, you know, buy you a new bottle, stock up, use a coupon. So as you can see, I kind of put a layer of hairspray before I lay the hair down, kind of to act like as a little bit of an adhesive. And then I do another layer after and then just smooth it down so the hair is really stuck on there. So you might be wondering what the back looks like now. And since lots of this hair was longer than this, a lot of it is just draped randomly down there, which is why we have this hair in the back to cover that up. So put a little bit more hairspray back there and kind of just, I don't know, you can like pin these back so they're not just hanging out there. Now I'm going to start taking this back hair, and I'm just going to brush it out a little bit. So unlike this hair, I'm not trying to drape it over to the top. I'm going to try to separate the curls a little bit and use the messiness of the curls to hide all of the rowdiness and hide all of this other hair that's draped over top. Another thing you can do to kind of make it a little bit messier is to tease it up a little bit. Not teasing it enough to make it like rowdy, but just to separate the curls just like that, so you kind of have a cloud of curls. Soak it in hairspray and then just kind of drape it over like that. And put it in place with a little clip like this. Alright, so this wig is mostly done. As you can see, this is all the hair that's in the back here, and this is all the leftover hair that's gonna just like fall along my shoulders. As you can see, there's still tons of clips in here because this hair in the back had a harder time draping upwards than the front did. So what I'm gonna do, I've got here my blow dryer and hairspray, and I'm gonna spray the hair while blowing it on low heat and then later with cold air. And this method really locks the hair in place, so just blow like there's no tomorrow. Kind of just like my Friday night. Alright, after all that blowing, you can probably take out all the clips by now, and if you did a good job, the hair should stay up and stay nice and firm, even without the help of all the clips. Okay, so once all of that hair is nice and firm and you're confident with it, you can add some finishing touches. A lot of Marie Antoinette hairstyles, I see have like pearls everywhere. I'm not someone who looks like they can afford pearls. I have here some dollar store flowers from a previous craft that I did, and I'm just gonna put these in the hair. I tried to make a flower dress once, but it fell through. It just looked like absolute shit, so that's why I have tons and tons of fake flowers at my disposal, but you can just use whatever you have. You can use feathers, pearls. The more accessories you add, the more mistakes you can hide, so I like to add lots of accessories. I know I said I couldn't get pearls, but I found these in my mom's bathroom, so I'm gonna drape these over top as a little finishing touch. And I'm just pinning these in place with, what am I even using? I couldn't find any more bobby pins, I ran out, so I'm using these weak-ass little flimsy-ass hairpins. These have like no strength, like they are so easy to bend so effortlessly. I wish I could like get somebody fired over this, is how much I hate these things, but they're all I have. You could also add like feathers and like jewelry and stuff, but like, I feel like this is already doing the most, so I think we're gonna stop here. Maybe just one more pin. Alright guys, this is the finished hair. I really like it. Like I said, you can add as many or as little accessories as you want. I really wanted to just keep the hair the focal point of the look, but I really love the way it turned out. I think I'm gonna go change into a little 18th century costume and put on some Marie Antoinette inspired makeup, and then I'll be back. This is the finished look, everyone, with the makeup and everything. Marie Antoinette style makeup is all about that pale skin, strong pink blush, and the occasional beauty mark here and there. I did film a full in-depth tutorial on this face, which is gonna be going up on my channel in a few days, so subscribe to see that. But until then, I hope you guys liked watching this video. It was a lot of fun to make and a big challenge, but I'm really glad with how it turned out. Thanks again to Powder Room D for sending me this wig to stop for you guys. If you want to see more wigs like this, you can check out their website, powderroomd.com, and I do have a discount code so you can save 10% off your order. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this hairstyle and what other looks you want to see me try out, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye!